Hey, what's going on, guys? John Lee here, coming to you from Kansas City. We got the Gabby Petito case. Where is Brian Laundrie? We've been talking to Dog the Bounty Hunter. It's been got national coverage on this couple that took a trip across the country, and Mr. Laundrie returned home. So there's some breaking news here, and it amazes me that the truth will always come out. So I wanted to take a look at a couple of things here. Now, Brian Laundrie's and the family's attorney is saying that so when Brian first came here, there's a couple of things I want to talk about. The sister saying how she hadn't talked to her brother since, and then the parents and nobody asking questions. And I think this is what baffles everybody is nobody asking questions. The parents not asking questions. The sister not asking questions. So um, this whole thing about taking coming back from a cross country trip with Gabby's van without actually having his fiancee Gabby with him didn't raise any suspicions. But who knows what he actually said to his sister or to his parents? But somebody had to have asked something. Somebody had to have known something. But this is where shit just kind of gets twisted. The sister said that, and I'm going to play a couple of these clips for you. You can, speculate all you want. But from the beginning, I thought there was something a little bit off and a little bit shady about the sister, saying that she had had no contact or wasn't able to talk to her brother since he had been home without Gabby on September 1st. And then things get, even more twisted now that the Laundrie's family attorney has come out and said that, in fact, the sister had seen Brian Laundrie. He stopped by his sister's house, and then she was also there at the Fort DeSoto campground and saw her brother there. And this is all before, Gabby was officially reported missing, but she had already been home for 10, 11 days. Not she had been home, but Brian Laundrie had already been home since September 1st and had multiple encounters with her brother and told ABC's exclusively reported with ABC that she was not able to talk to her brother since he had returned home without Gabby. And so this is just really shady. It's shady of the sister and it's shady of the parents. But um, and now they're saying, he may have purchased a burner phone and some other stuff like that. But I'm not so much interested in that. But once Dog the Bounty Hunter got on the case, started chasing down this Fort DeSoto, really looked into the campground. We all thought it was really jacked up that that Brian Laundrie would come home from a cross country trip in Gabby's van without his fiancee Gabby. And then for some reason he's mowing the grass and he's going for walks and bicycle rides with his mom and his dad. And then they take this camping trip just out of the blue. So Dog the Bounty Hunter started checking into, just like the FBI should have been doing. Why is it that this is what gets me? The FBI has wasted all this time and money and effort into searching that swamp down there at the reserve, for like 2 weeks, spending millions of dollars and resources, and then they haven't turned up anything, and that's probably because he wasn't even there, or maybe he was there. I am convinced at this point that the parents were definitely trying to help their son evade the police. Whether or not they knew something or not is debatable, but they definitely knew that their son was in some kind of trouble. He had to be in some kind of trouble, or everybody wouldn't have been looking for him. But the timelines just don't match up across the board here. So once Dog the Bounty Hunter got on the trail, he started looking at the campgrounds. Then we started getting these, he's been getting all these tips and all this stuff. For some reason, he's running a parallel investigation that's different from that of the FBI. The FBI is saying, they don't want everybody, they don't want the public seeming to know, all the information or where they're at. Obviously, we've all been trying to get the cause of death, autopsy. It's been a couple weeks now, and homicide out in the wilderness. There's just too many stones left unturned. There's too many variables, too many things that aren't adding up. There's too many undetermined, you know, too many shadows of a doubt that Brian Laundrie is in fact actually, guilty of committing murder or homicide. We need the cause of death. Uh, it's my understanding that it wasn't a an educated philanthropist that did the original autopsy out there in Utah. So they recently released this footage of the Moab Police Department, which I'm sure everybody has seen, that's showing Gabby Petito saying that he hit her first, and this was all in defense. And, with the domestic violence situation, with somebody should have been arrested, this probably would never have happened. But if this is the standard for domestic violence, I mean, I think we all deserve a mental break every once in a while, but we don't get it. That's not how, domestic violence usually typically works. But without evidence, it's really hard. Without a crime, a cause of death, it's really difficult outside of speculation or circumstance to actually, charge Brian Laundrie with the homicide. I want to know what the cause of death is. I'm sure a lot of people do. So, fast forward to where we're at now. Today is October 2nd. They started talking about this other released footage from Moab. A statement has come out from the Laundrie's attorney saying that. So, let me back up just a little bit real quick. So, Dog the Bounty Hunter got on this case. He went over to the Fort DeSoto campground and found either a lead or a tip from somebody, and went through the logs. They did find that the family, the Laundrie family, went camping, registered on September 6th, and then left on the 8th. Then news was coming out that Dog the Bounty Hunter had reported to have spoken with someone and had a reputable, credible source that told them that 3 people went in, but only 2 came out. So, that's a huge concern. And then the FBI was saying, no, that we were not able to validate that. That was not a credible source. But then the plot thickens, and, everybody's still not finding anything down at the reserves. The FBI's trying to act like, Dog the Bounty Hunter, he's just doing this maybe for publicity, or his show was canceled and he just kind of inserted himself into this investigation. But the fact of the matter is, I believe that once Dog the Bounty Hunter inserted himself into this investigation, he just happened to be down in that area, and he was from Colorado, and this couple had traveled through Colorado is the only reason it sparked his attention. But so he goes down there, and now they're saying 3 people went into the Fort DeSoto campground. Only 2 came out. Now the Laundrie family's attorney, flashed forward up to the, today, October 2nd, 2021, just recently, yesterday or the day before, the Laundrie family attorney released a statement saying that the sister of Brian Laundrie did in fact actually have contact with him on September 1st when he came back from his cross-country trip without Gabby and visited her at her home. And then his sister again saw Brian Laundrie at this campground, must have drove over and met up with the family, and the attorney said that the sister saw him on the 1st when he came back, and then saw him again. So 2 times, people count them, 1, 2, 2 times the sister of Brian Laundrie had actually spoken with or been around and seen her brother. But according to, I think it was like on the 17th when the sister did the exclusive interview with ABC, she's told the world and the reporters that she had not been able to talk to her brother. So, this is a classic, fumble of the truth, a fumble of a lie. I had a feeling that the sister was really shady. She was really off. She was saying, oh, I don't understand. But this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Dog the Bounty Hunter's onto something. I think the FBI don't know their ball cap from a hole in the ground. And I think that when Brian Laundrie came home, he went to his sister's house and told her what happened. And then she, pardon me, and then I think she went to the campground. They planned a meeting. The Laundrie parents planned a meeting. They planned a camp. They got the reservations at the Fort DeSoto campground. They had the sister come meet them there. I think she picked up Brian Laundrie, her brother, from there and took him somewhere. And that's where the next lead needs to come from, is where did Brian Laundrie's sister take him from Fort DeSoto Campground? That's the real question. And that would line up with what Dog's credible source said. 3 people went in, 2 people came out. Well, how could that even happen? Well, we all know if you've been camping, if you have a visitor, somebody might come in a separate vehicle. They wouldn't have to register. They wouldn't have to register as a visitor. They could come in, pick up their brother, and then leave. Only the people, the parents, it showed only the mother had actually registered. So to me, this is like spot on. Exactly, this is like breaking news. There's absolutely a connection between somebody who has changed their stories or has not been completely honest. Now, with the parents, we kind of didn't know because we don't know what BRIAN Laundrie told them. But when we have the sister who actually, after the fact, said she has not been able to talk to her brother, and then the family's attorney comes out and says the sister has actually had contact with BRIAN Laundrie and been around him not once but twice during that time period, and then specifically said that she was around him at the campsite after we get this news from Dog the Bounty Hunter that 3 people went in and only 2 came out. It just dawned on me this morning that, like, oh my God, like, the sister is totally involved in this shit. She knew from the beginning, so maybe the parents didn't know, but the sibling and the sister did know. He went on the first, told his sister what happened. Then he went to his parents and said, let's plan a camp trip, which is, and it didn't strike anybody as odd, but let's just imagine that for, the sake of the conversation, that the parents were completely oblivious. They said, let's go to a camping trip. Fort DeSoto, they got the reservations. They went up there and camped. BRIAN had contact with his sister. Somehow they planned for her to come pick him up from there and then make his getaway from there. So I could be wrong. This is complete speculation, but when you have somebody that's come out and actually changed their stories, or had an indifference of interpretations, the way it was said to me by the not to me, but in another video I saw this morning, was talking about difference of interpretations on the way the question was asked by the reporter versus the way it was answered by BRIAN Laundrie's sister. I ain't buying none of that shit. It makes total sense. If any of you guys are out there watching any of this or trying to follow it or track the steps or track the places they've been or the time segments, this is, in my opinion, where there's some real gray area. And it's not even so much a gray area now that their family lawyer has actually come out and said the sister was actually had contact with him twice after the sister said she's had no contact with him. It's really a no-brainer to me that, especially being siblings and you're in a situation where he could go to prison for life, I could definitely see the sister helping him out and doing in any way she could to help her brother avoid any type of criminal charges. So she met with him. This is my speculation. If I'm lying, be sure and drop your comments below. And don't forget, if you like videos like these, hit that like and subscribe button for me for the YouTube algorithms. Push videos like these to other internet YouTubers like yourself. I'm going to play a couple clips for you. You can put this shit together for yourself. Drop your comments below. Let me know what you think. Let's get it.
Find out.
So I think it's important to start with what the sister had told GMA during an interview on September 17th, and she had an exclusive interview with GMA, and Cassie Laundrie, BRIAN Laundrie's sister, said that, quote, "We haven't been able to talk with him. I wish I could talk with him." And then she said that she's cooperated in every way that she can, but she called him a wonderful uncle. So again, we have the sister on September 17th saying that she has not spoken to BRIAN Laundrie, according to reporting from ABC.
How did you see him twice as his brother, but you hadn't spoke to him?
Obviously, the question is, was she telling the truth? Is the family telling the truth about their interactions? And
nope.
The attorney, all I said was, "Good afternoon," and the attorney shot me that text because he knew what this was about. Like, I just said hi, and then boom.
Probably rapid fire right down the text chain, yeah.
Exactly, and he said, quote, "Cassie saw her brother Brian on September 1st. That's when Brian got back to Northport without Gabby, when he stopped by her home, and again on September 6th at Fort DeSoto Park. Law enforcement agencies are well aware of these dates, says the attorney. Any prior communication by Cassie that does not reflect these dates is simply a difference of relating an answer to a question misinterpreted by Cassie or poorly posed by the inquirer.
So let me hop in here. So what Stephen Bertolino, the attorney, is saying
Whatever.
is that
I ain't buying that shit, and
Cassie
you ain't
Laundrie
either.
misinterpreted the question in that.
I mean, are you guys really buying that shit? That it might have been misinterpreted. The question might have been misinterpreted by Cassie, the sister, or might have possibly been posed in a shitty manner by the inquirer. That is the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard. If the brother came back like he did and met with his sister, went to her house, why would he have gone to his sister's house first in the first place, especially with Gabby's van? I mean, seriously.
That ABC interview and didn't understand that question correctly. And when she said that she hadn't seen Brian since he returned home from that cross-country trip, returned home to Florida, that's what people are talking about online right now.
She said, I haven't been able to talk to him. I wish I could talk to him. And I think that's where the contradiction comes in, and this is why we're talking about this now, because if in the...
Yeah, I mean, that's just a crock of shit. I wish I could talk to him like no. It's national news. This chick is or then I started thinking maybe she's like, she knows something. So that's why she's like, I can't talk to him. You know, I can't talk to him because I don't have any respect for him. I don't, even though he's my brother. But then she sits there and says, you know, he's a good uncle and blah, blah, blah. But I just ain't buying this. I think he went to her house to help plan his getaway, used his parents to get him a campground. They, you know, acted like nothing happened, waited to see if she would come up reported missing, went in and he made his getaway before that she was able to actually, like way ahead of time, reported, you know, they were the same weekend they're camping as the weekend that she was reported missing. And I think that that was a perfect opportunity for him to get away. Then the FBI said they knew where he was when they said he was at the Laundrie house or that he was at the reserve. Of course, he didn't turn up there. And now we know why. His sister went and met the parents at the Fort DeSoto campground, more than likely picked up their brother. And thank God that Dog the Bounty Hunter was sniffing their tracks, because that's what I think has actually led to these types of tips and this type of, you know, checking other credible sources. Look at the FBI and the searching the 250,000 acres of the reserve and come up with nothing because they were looking in the wrong place. Why isn't Dog the Bounty Hunter looking down there? Because, you know, he doesn't think that that's where he's at. And so, you know, I just think that this is a psychotic case, everything from the original domestic stop all the way to this, you know, back to Florida. But if you think about it, and you think about it in this time sensitive case, you know, this all adds up and makes perfect sense that he stopped by his sister's house, said, hey, I'm in trouble. I'm going to go, you know, get mom and dad to rent this campsite. I need you to come pick me up and then take me somewhere. And so I don't know if he had a different identity or if he did go, in fact, to one of those islands, or if something. I don't think that, you know, you got to think, if you were BRIAN Laundrie, you know, he was an outdoorsman. He was smart enough that he would know that, you know, anywhere he's been that anyone knew he was there, they would come looking for him there. But what they wouldn't do is come looking for him somewhere where his sister took him, because there's no trace and no track and no record of that. Unless we can actually get the sister subpoenaed and her credit card and her phone records subpoenaed, then I would tell everybody, I bet you we solve this case. And I think that it's going to be CASSIE Laundrie that's going to be the sister of BRIAN Laundrie that helps this case finally get some justice. You can't always believe what people tell you, and I think that the sister CASSIE Laundrie is in fact a liar, and I think that she should be criminally charged for helping her brother evade this situation. I think she maybe didn't know the specific details, but I think she knew that her brother was facing criminal charges, and she did in fact help him get away from the Fort DeSoto campground that him and his parents were staying at. I think that maybe it was on the 7th. I think it was maybe September 7th. It was probably right in between, day in between. It sounds like a perfect time for me. It wasn't the day they got there, it wasn't the day they left. It was the right in between. The sister stopped by for a visit. He hopped in, and she took him somewhere. So the real question is to Cassie Laundrie, where did you take your brother? And I'm telling you right now, coming to you from Kansas City, I solved the case, and that'll bring justice.
The event that she's answered it that way and hasn't seen him, but then all of a sudden we can prove now that she saw him on the 1st and eventually at the park on the 6th. We have records from Pinellas County putting the family there on this Roberta reservation and camping trip there the 6th through the 7th, according to the attorney. So it's all about putting the timeline together now and trying to like level up on what things are true and what things aren't. And when you look at this, that's why this is such a big development today, in that the sister, according to the attorney, saw him on the 1st and then on the 6th as well.
I'll just say this as far as on behalf of our...
So this is some really shady shit. So I'm John Lee. I think I just solved the case. It's Cassie Laundrie, Brian Laundrie's sister. Picked him up at the Fort DeSoto campground. Let me know what you think. Drop your comments below. I got to get to the next breaking news. This is huge, and I think this is a case solver, and hopefully we get the cause of death here pretty soon. But I'm John Lee. I'm on to the next one.